Whoa! Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile too.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Tiki's Universe, the show where we recap and respond to a whole myriad of animated programming. But the most consistent one that we're doing right now, because it's actually on a regular airing schedule, is Rick and Morty. Now, guys, if I were to ask you the premise of this episode, you know, like how you would sum up what this episode is, what would your response be?
It's a Rick and Jerry episode.
Rick and Jerry episode. Yeah, Rick and Jerry adventure. All right. Now,
and also some stuff happens on Earth.
Now, of course, Jacob, you have been with me for the majority of season 3. Dragon, this is your first time talking about Rick and Morty, man. Like, I remember it was a running joke, like the whole, like, you have to watch Rick and Morty, Dragon. You have to do it. So now that you finally watched it, Dragon, what are your thoughts overall on this bizarre and just very, very, very odd cult classic show that we have in Rick and Morty?
Well, I think I finally understand what the hype's about. Why everyone's really in love with the show. I personally, I see it. I get it. I'm not 100% on the show, but you know, I've kept coming back, and it's kept my interest. It's kind of like some of these other shows that I've kind of gotten into out of like all the praise, you know, like BoJack Horseman or Officer Family. Again, I'm not head over heels, but I'm seeing the benefit of them. It's like this isn't. A lot of it's taste issues. I can't really hold anything against the show from a critical point of view. I will say this though: it's I see a lot of potential, a lot of fun here and there. And I really like was it Justin
Roiland?
Justin Roiland. I think I love his performance of Rick and Morty. Those you know, the funny improvisational style he's got going on there.
We're doing Vindicators too.
So it's fun, but again, like this episode kind of broaches, like not every character wins me over, and but at the same time, they do address it a lot of the time, and a lot of it is intentional. So it's fun, but for me, it's kind of hard to talk about sometimes. But it's you know, it's kind of hard to, because again, it's kind of sometimes it's a mixed bag, but there's a really good mix and there's a really kind of like bizarre mix.
I think last episode was a good example of that, where there was some really good stuff in there, especially with Drunk Rick. But there was also kind of a lot of weird sort of like they're throwing all the stuff at the wall that they can in terms of getting like Marvel parodies out of these characters and whatnot and throwing them into a Saw situation. I don't know. I'm just going to address it right now, guys. I think you and I think all three of us can kind of agree. This season, like, it's a good season. I just don't necessarily think it's reached the high trajectory point of season 2 yet. I think especially the thing that's been missing for me, especially since the Rick Shank redemption, are the really, really high stakes, you know, like high concept sci-fi storylines. Like what we've gotten is all fun and all cool. It's just we haven't gotten a sci-fi storyline that really like expands your mind. Something like the Love Potion episode or the Simulation episode,
honestly,
or the Parasite episode or anything like that.
Honestly, it seems to me they're not one-offs like they used to be.
And that's definitely both a pro and a con, because I think a lot of people can agree, while the divorce subplot does give the characters an added bit of development, it also comes at the cost of, like, you know, the overall episodes not standing out as much. I'm sorry, Jacob, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I now that you guys mentioned that, I do have to agree with what you said. I mean, it hasn't really. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of these episodes have ranked really highly for me. Like Rick's Shank Redemption and Pickle Rick being like very big standouts of this series as a whole. But like those are really two standout episodes. Like those are like very good season 2 episodes, if you ask me.
Right. And I don't know. For me, Pickle Rick, like as much as I liked Pickle Rick, I think the thing with that is it almost relied too much on the gore fest quality for me.
I really love the design of Pickle Rick. I just want to get that out of the way. I really love that, you know, with the arms and legs. It was a really good design.
I mean, that, as I was saying, that and Rick Shank Redemption, which like that really did like that was like the high stakes sci-fi concept you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. The whole like switching between body to body and all that.
Yeah, and they also pulled kind of a killing joke with the Rick backstory.
You're right. And
like,
the other storylines, they haven't been bad. They've just kind of, like I said, they haven't really expanded the imagination in the same way that earlier Rick and Morty episodes have.
I mean, like there's a whole escapism thing about from episode 2, which was like kind of like they hit you over the face with it, almost like they weren't even being subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 3 was Pickle Rick, and last week was like, hey, look at this, it's Marvel meets Saw. Like,
right.
I mean, it's like a lot of these episodes are like icons that made you think, made you laugh, and even made you cry a little bit. These last few, just some of these episodes, it's like, I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. It's just like they're not as high concept and they're not as risky as they used to be.
Yeah.
Like, I think this episode very much goes in that same sort of trend where we're getting a lot of good character development this time around with the Whirly conspiracy. But it kind of comes at the cost of, like, we're not doing that sort of big Mandix-minding stuff that I fell in love with this show for to begin with.
We do get a bit of it here, though. So we do get a bit of those mind-expandy things towards the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not that every single episode needs to have that. I mean, not every episode of season 1 or 2 was like mind-bendy, high ends, and they still managed to be great episodes.
All I can say is I'm still waiting for a return of Mr. Meeseeks.
Oh god, I love Mr. Meeseeks.
I need to see more Mr. Meeseeks.
Even those what I'm saying is even those ones that weren't high end, sci-fi adventures that played with your expectations, like those were still risky. It's just like those took risks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're not really taking a lot of risks recently, if you ask me.
No, I agree.
But at the same time, the kind of the grounded character kind of growth is also kind of admirable. So it's kind of hard to kind of condemn one and kind of praise the other at the same time. It's like,
and let's just be honest here: divorce storylines are not the most popular storylines to write in any medium.
But here's the cleverness. So Dan Harmon, that's the guy with the beard, right? That's the main guy. Dan Harmon. He actually, I remember on the Back to the Future documentary, because of course there's obviously a little bit of Back to the Future and Rick and Morty. I don't think I'm speaking out of school on that one.
Well, it literally started as a short called Dog Marty. So
the whole lick my balls.
Come on, Marty, you got to lick my balls, Marty.
Yeah. And then basically they had a really funny story on that about how he was working with her like as like an intern or something for Robert Zemeckis. He was with Robert Zemeckis, and like one of the guys they coerced him, and he said, "Hey, you got his parents back together," because his parents were divorced. They were going through a divorce, and they got back together over Back to the Future. And Zemeckis says, "Oh yeah, good." He just barely cared at all. It was hilarious. Like Harmon I would believe Harmon knows a divorce story. He knows kind of how to write that sort of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you guys said, it is really interesting to see how it'll turn out. Plus, it's only halfway through, so we don't know how it's all going to turn out. So
exactly. I mean, it's a different approach, and I respect it on that level. But you guys are right. It's very discernibly. It's a different flavor than we've got in the past 2 seasons, which we're used to.
It just seems kind of jarring.
Yes.
All right, so the episode does start. I love Rick and Morty episodes that start like this.
Has a really good introduction.
Pickle Rick had a very similar.
It's a Rick and Jerry adventure. Rick and Jerry episode.
And it does mirror the pilot of Rick and Morty.
It does. You're right. You're absolutely right. Morty, you're gonna come with me, Morty. Morty, very important adventure, Morty. Morty, this can't wait, Morty.
At least he stopped saying Morty so much.
Well, yeah. Oh, God.
But I really, seriously, I really love the premise of this. This is kind of hitting on what I really, and this one, I'm like, very little of this episode, it's not grabbing me, but I love the majority of this episode where I love my favorite moments of Rick and Morty are when Morty and Rick have some nice moments together. Actually, you see some genuineness coming from Rick. It's like deep down, the guy really does care about this kid. And you have that here where Morty asked Rick to watch his father. As much as I don't like the Jerry character, the fact that Jerry's just he's take him on a pity adventure, make him feel better, make sure he doesn't off himself. That sort of thing. And again, I like that. and we see in the episode, like in this scene that's kind of before us here, it's this conversation on the way, kind of setting up the episode. Rick. Rick's saying when Morty gets like this sort of thing, he can't get back, he can't focus on work because again, he cares about the kid. And he wants to make, he wants to help him out by doing this for Morty, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess the main planet of the episode, I want to say it's I want to say it's a parody of Pandora.
Well, it is kind of forced. Yeah, I don't know.
Just the only reason I say that is we have that like glass dome where most of the civilization is, and then we have the forest area where all the the alien monsters are. So that's kind of the best way I can describe it. Is sort of it's a Pandora-esque planet.
This is honestly one of my favorite locations we've got in Rick and Morty. I really do love this resort with the immortality feel. I love it as a concept. I think it's a great idea, and it makes so much sense that you'd have people paid to the nose to get to a place where their consequences have no actions. It's basically what if we had like a consequence-free purge every for a vacation spot almost. It's like, hey, you can kill the people you want; they're gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna be laughing about it. And there's like an awesome bar, it's such a fun thing. And again, it's hitting on that thing I love with the show, and I just really love the premise because of it. It's just the whole when he gets this location, one, of course he's taking Jerry down a peg, saying, oh, this place is nice. Well, Jerry, you have no idea you have no idea. You can't grasp the concept of the universe. For all you know, I'm taking you to the equivalent of a truck stop. But yes, it is really nice. And basically, he's saying
super nice.
Him saying, what, I'm going to take you to a nice place because I promised more. I take him on an adventure. You just take him to a nice place, and I like the guy showing some civility to Jerry, and he hates Jerry. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like tries to discredit him, but then admits that he's right. But yeah, you're right.
Of course, we have. I want to say his name is Skabooby Bloopers. That guy, the one that takes impales Rick with the spear, and then he's like all buddy. Sanchez, hey, anything this guy wants, cover him. It's like
it's kind of like a very Han and Lando-esque moment.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm loving this stuff.
Yo, pirate!
I think my favorite part of this episode is Act 1, honestly, just thinking about it. And Act 1 has all my favorite stuff in it.
Like I messaged Tiki, I was like, okay, I like the opening so far. What's gonna happen?
Should we transition a little bit to Earth, or you want to keep going in the resort?
Oh yeah, I guess we should talk about the Earth storyline. Sure, we have. Oh God, to tell you the truth, guys, I could see this being a divisive storyline, but I personally really liked it.
I mean,
I like it for the most part.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I liked it.
I just thought it was a very funny sort of commentary on like teenage angst.
I mean, I love the Morty stuff on Earth. That's my favorite part of the Earth stuff. I love Morty kind of and tracking the arc of the season. It seems like we're seeing like kind of the effects on the divorce. Beth, for example, she's living with the side that she picked. She picked the path of the daddy's girl versus just kind of moving on with Jerry, and she got divorced because she sided with Rick over Jerry, and in doing so, the consequence is that she's becoming her father. And she does sound a little bit like her father, just kind of laying out the intellectual response to like what Summer's going through, but Summer doesn't really care, and it's kind of Rick and Morty type thing, but with her and Summer, and that kind of leads her down the adventure.
It's like something that Morty even played out. I was like, well, you pretty much become Rick.
Yeah.
I like that Morty's kind of calling her on that, and that's the thing I'm loving in this episode we get with Morty is that he's he's on fire as the man of the house, because he's getting pissed off, and he's yelling at the neighbor. He's like, hey, what's going on?
Mind your own goddamn business, Gene. I'm having a conversation with my mother.
That's what I'm saying. I'm loving that sort of thing. And Morty's really taking charge. And we have that great thing at the end where he's talking to Ethan, the kid who had the Anatomy Park built.
God, that's such a great scene. Yes.
So I love the ending. Again, that's what I'm talking about. I love that Morty is also kind of becoming the ideal version.
My sister, Ethan. You made her uncomfortable with her body image.
Yeah, and he mutated him at the end. With the growth machine. That's great.
I guess we can like talk about just the whole Beth and Morty and Summer side plot just all kind of in one chunk because it sort of gets dispensed throughout the episode. One of my favorite gags is the
kind of like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman meets Attack on Titan almost.
Kind of, in a way, yeah.
I mean, at least the look when she gets turned inside out, she kind of looks like one of those Titans.
It's a weird one. All right.
So I absolutely love the self-help. The hotline guys,
like, we're free.
All right, you see that little button on the side right there? Yeah. All right, go ahead and give it a big press. We're free!
I mean, those guys were manipulating her, but they were darn pleasant while they were doing it.
They were. Okay, a bunch of little men ran out. What now?
Is it just me or it's like Tom Kenny been in every single one of these episodes recently?
Tom Kenny is very much having a presence this season. You're right.
I mean, he was in a lot of episodes in like the first few seasons as well, so I think he's pretty much becoming a mainstay.
He's like kind of the mainstay in terms of like doing bit parts. Yeah.
But so I just want to make sure I get in there because I want to forget. I love that we're continuing the Morty arc with the whole, like, remember that arm thing and that the Mad Max parody? The Rick Manson, the Stone,
yeah.
was called. That one, again, like, you know, he had the father figure of an arm, kind of allowing him to work through his divorce issues. And again, that's this story, like, kind of Morty now becoming kind of the father he wanted Jerry to be. It's all kind of connected that way.
Sure. I also really love the whole, the whole bit with Beth not wanting to call Rick and just getting everything like way in over her head. Like the reverse ray. Like, what could that possibly do but change her back to normal?
Oh, jeez.
Then we get a good old fashioned like Rick and Morty Cronenberg body horror with her being turned inside out. Giant Summer being turned inside out.
Yeah, man, she's in a lot of pain while that's happening.
I'm sure she is. Yeah.
Anytime she takes a step, she's stepping on the inside of the foot, man. That's yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, technically, reverse would probably mean. I mean, if you're doing that, to be like inside out and stuff like that. Like, actually, like, it's kind of misleading labeling.
I think I've already asked you guys this, and the answer was no, but I'm just going to try one more time. Does anyone else besides me remember Inside Out Boy from old school Nickelodeon?
No. I don't think you've ever asked me that.
He was swinging on the monkey bars, and he swinged like all the way over, and then he got turned inside out. It was claymation.
I'm at a loss. I got nothing.
No one else besides, it's like a Mandela effect. No one else besides me remembers Inside Out Boy. All right.
I'm sure he exists. Just, I don't remember him. That's all.
Fair enough.
I don't think you ever asked me about it either.
All right. Anyways. So yeah, I love how the episode basically devolves into like kaiju inside out women like hugging it out and having a mom to mom moment.
And of course,
so
sounding
ridiculous.
Like deranged Wookiees while they're like the
yes.
Yeah, we have like kind of that growth voice. Or basically, they're giants and like the reverberations on the. They're also inside out now, so I mean, it's more devolved like kind of Wookieisms.
Also, I just love the moment where they turn Summer quote unquote normal. And Beth's like, well, she's normal now. That's progress. I'm not normal.
I tell you, it did remind me when they were driving and, Morty was figuring out the machine. It kind of reminded me of not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
It's Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, yes.
Yeah, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and then of course the climax of that where they grow the mother so she can
right.
That's kind of what the ending reminded me of. Like, oh, it's kind of like a really dark, scary Cronenberg-esque version of that.
Also, I love how Beth is just like so insistent. Like, I am not a bad mother. I am not a bad look. I might be unorthodox in my ways, but and then of course,
I turn my kid inside out. What parent hasn't?
And I think Beth has the line of the episode when she says, "I'm coming for you, baby. I care about my baby. I care about her titties."
Mama cares about him.
Mama cares about her baby's titties.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, so I think that's about the only stuff I have to go over with the Earth subplot. It's a fun subplot. I would say the one flaw I have with it is we don't really see what happens to Ethan except after in the post credits.
Well, that's all we need with him.
I guess so.
Well, here's my issue with it. It's very minor, but it's kind of eating away on the rewatch. How dumb does Summer have to be? I mean, she gets what she wants, and she just can't walk the other way. Why?
Right.
The beam. It's like then she's uneven, and then of course she put her hand in front of it. It's like that's what happened, man. Why did you blasted yourself? Which is impressive, which should not have happened, by the way. It's like either way, she gets blasted. She should have like taken a step to the right or something.
Also, I just want to point out the post-credit scene in this episode is absolutely amazing.
Well, that's the thing with Ethan.
Yeah, it's the thing with Ethan, but I specifically love the whole, like, oh, guys, what'd we talk about? No, don't talk about work. Yeah, that's right. We're just here to sit back, enjoy our retirement, and oh God! Now that is just like a classic bit of like dark Rick and Morty cynicism to end the episode out on. I love it. Okay, anyways,
Speaking of Rick.
Yeah, circling back around to the A plot of this, let's talk about the Whirly Durly itself.
Well, aren't we going to talk about Clancy Brown?
I guess we can, sure.
I believe it's Risotto Grupa.
Okay, yeah.
I love Clancy Brown in this episode. Oh my God, he's so good in this episode. He's just, I love this.
I mean, so Risotto Grupa is kind of the guy that introduces the Whirly Durly, so we are kind of right there.
Well, I'm just saying it kind of gets us there, so we should start with him.
Okay.
Anyway, but yes, Grupa, I think, great character. I love the way Clancy Brown plays. I mean, he has such class and gravitas leading this coup, and you're rooting for him because, Rick, you understand where he's coming from. Again, we saw at the very beginning when Rick lands, like, you have like little park and valet guys in suits that are of his race, and Rick with his weapons, selling his weapons to I guess whoever colonized the planet or whoever built the resort. They force people into servitude, and you feel bad for the guy. He's so refined, yet he's a restaurant entertainer. Yeah, he's just such a fall from grace. One of my favorite ones of the episode. That guy, just he's so dignified, and he gets so shafted.
You know what he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of like Greedo if Greedo didn't get shafted.
Sure, I guess.
It's like Greedo if Greedo actually had a backstory.
That makes sense. I can buy that a little bit more now. And and you also have that great bit of like, one of my favorite bits, and this is the reason, this is my kind of villain. I mean, person in the antagonist position, where you have a character saying, "Hey, I'm not Rick Sanchez. I'm not going to force your hand on this. If you don't want to, you don't have to." And again, it's like he gives Jerry a way out, and the whole, "I'm not going to waste a bullet on you." That's that whole thing. Oh, that was great. Just excellent little kind of guest spot for Clancy Brown. Let's see. So yes, so the big plan, of course, is to get Rick on the World Tour, which you're going to love how it's explained. I'm just asking you to get on a ride with your father-in-law, then go home to your family. That's all I'm asking.
And get off without your father-in-law.
Yes, and again, it's a very clean-cut plan. It's just like knowing something sinister about that, and that's all it's going to be. Now, I guess what gets us also to the Whirly Durly is, of course, the big kind of decision that Jerry makes. So I guess we should talk about Jerry a little bit in the episode.
Yeah, well, of course, I love this sort of back and forth dynamic between Rick and Jerry where, Rick is constantly sort of going back and forth between being his constant dick self towards Jerry and also being like, oh, geez, Jerry, it's like, come to think of it, I might have actually messed up your marriage, and I'm sorry about that. I stepped in where I didn't belong.
I gotta tell you, I really love that. I love the nice Rick, the Jerry, and I like that at the same time. He's like, I've been pretty mean to you. And again, it's like not an apology, but it's an acknowledgement, and the fact they're getting kind of buddy.
Rick is one of the few people I know that can both be a jerk and be nice at the same time.
That's the thing, because they're having fun at the bar. I love this. Like, we're not going on an adventure. We're kind of doing like a middle ground.
They're pointing out like the freaky Jeff Goldblum alien.
Yeah, they're buying over Goldblum. It's like we have these little moments with them here, and it's like the adventure by not going on adventure. It's like, hey, we're lying to your son, my grandson. We're having a good time with it.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
It actually was. Like I said, that's one thing I do like about this is like it was actually good, nice to actually see them. At least for some parts of the episode, see them on civil terms.
But then Jerry does the thing he usually does that pisses me off, and it's like there goes like all the nice things about the episode, all the Jerry stuff following that little buddy. But it's just when Jerry, like after acknowledging as Rick tends to do, he points out to Jerry that your marriage you have serious problems in your marriage. It's what led to at the end. Before we get to that great little kind of like acknowledgement on the roller coaster on the Whirly Durly. It's just that. It's that bit where Jerry he's so petty. Just the minute Rick points that out, then he says, hey, let's go on the Whirly. He just makes a decision, hey, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
right.
that was so petty. And then afterwards, again, the action scene, let's just get to the Whirly Girl itself. And I'll put a pin into my Jerry stuff.
But no, you're absolutely right. Like, Jerry does kind of, like, Rick he's not lying, he's just being honest with Jerry, which is more than he's afforded Jerry for a long time. Look, Jerry, it wasn't just me. There were problems with your relationship before I even came into the picture.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so we get to the Whirly Dirly was a cool thing. If I'm interpreting right, which I'm saying based on like unusual design things, that the Whirly Dirly itself is what's powering that shield, the immortality shield.
Seems about right, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's usually what those kind of, like, it's a device it's kind of modeled after, if I'm remembering correctly. That is not a stabilizer, but it's a gyroscope. It's like a it moves like a gyroscope, and in doing so, it's kind of sometimes it's kind of mounted on there, and in a lot of sci-fi stuff, that's kind of the power source. Of that little turny thing powers everything. So that's kind of what it suggests, that when that thing goes down, that's why the immortality shield goes away.
I'd really like to see a ride like that in real life. Obviously safer, but still. I mean, how cool would it kind of be if they could actually perfect a ride like that without, the factor of breaking down and killing everybody.
I love
the ride itself is actually a pretty simple design. Like, I could see them doing a prototype of it where basically what you have is you have two Larson loops on top of each other. You have two super loops on top of each other, kind of rotating around. So basically all you need to do is find a way to transition from one Larson loop to the other Larson loop. But
without actually dropping the ride.
Exactly. But now I'm just getting into really nerdy coaster semantics here.
One thing about a coaster I want to make here, we have again kind of the black comedy thing with Rick and Morty, where they're kind of acknowledging a very dark reality that people in that fight that Rick has with one of the assassins. It's like they're beheading each other on the ride, and that's unfortunately a roller coaster. Something you have one Joker who's gonna like someone on a theme park, right? Something bad's gonna have to, usually beheading.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the true dark joke of the episode, which I thought brought the house down, which was when the immortality shield got cut off for the whole resort. Yeah, and the little boy shoots the little girl alien in the head. Oh God, that is just I love that sort of classic like Rick and Morty like dark cynicism right there,
and the implication that they're all going to kill each other.
Right.
but yeah, man. Again, I like how they're working in some dark stuff into the action as well. But you're right that again was classic Rick and Morty darkness.
Okay, and then basically Rick kind of puts the pieces together that Jerry was in on it, because Jerry knew about the little spot outside of the invincibility shield.
Now it kind of turns into a cross between Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Meet the Parents.
Yes. We get a nice little bit of kind of sci-fi horror mixed in with that snake plant thing eating Jerry.
Jerry deserved that. He really did.
He did, but I just love the way that thing's animated where it's just like slowly eating him. It's just a very slow, painful process.
Yeah, I tell you, Jerry is just he makes me dislike Chris Parnell. I'm not crazy about it.
Oh man, I you and I have always had this disconnect. I don't know, Jacob, break the tie for us. I like Jerry Chris Parnell. I'm just I like a few. Very rarely do I like Jerry. Rarely. Jacob, what do you think about Jerry? Go on, Jerry.
I mean, personally, there are times when I do like him, and then I do like him. Then there are points where it's kind of like the same with everybody. I mean, like there are episodes where I like people, and there are episodes where I don't like people. Then, I mean, the whole going to kill him immediately after saying that one thing was kind of a bit petty on his part. But after I've also thinking about his station in life and what he's been through, and I kind of don't. So I'm kind of conflicted myself here. I mean, and I don't know what Chris Parnell did before.
My whole thing with Jerry is I really, again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I just think Jerry is such a relatable sad sack. Like he's like a very pathetic character, but I think the comedy in him comes from him being so pathetic. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Especially in this one, he just comes across at a certain point. He's such a wormy, nevishy scumbag to me. It's like, oh, this guy makes me sick sometimes.
All right. Well, let's get to when they get to the airport and Rick basically gets kind of semi-lobotomized.
Well, I mean, also we had a really great scene. We had just like the ultimate kind of Jerry teardown scene where Rick kind of lays out. The
yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a great. Oh man,
and that's the thing.
A great verbal teardown right there.
And I agree with everything he said. He's like, absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I was satisfied. It was a very therapeutic. He's like, yeah, he's voicing everything I don't like about the Jerry character. All right, Rick. Yeah.
You're a leech, Jerry. You might think that your main. You might think that people feel sorry for you, and you might think that you're a victim, but you're actually the abuser.
Yeah, my favorite lines in this scene, by the way. She was Rick's daughter, Jerry. She had options.
I love Rick's daughter. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I love it for two reasons. One, it's
because that technically isn't his Beth.
Yeah, it's...
That is true. That is technically not his Beth. Yeah.
well, no, he said Rick's daughter, so again, it wasn't like,
No, I know, but what Jacob's talking about is it's not the... Like, this reality Rick is not... You know what I mean? This reality's Rick jumped to another reality and yada yada. And so
it's like how the Ricks refer to all of themselves as Ricks. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Right.
Either way, I mean, I love the fact that it's a nice gesture of, like, again, just the... I like that it's like defending Beth. It's like, again, putting the daughter up and like the place of honor is like, you were a Rick Sanchez, Rick Sanchez's daughter is important. You crippled her with your sad sackness, and again, it's such a great kind of out of context. Like, she was Rick's daughter, Jerry. She had options.
Technically, Rick doesn't have a lot of place to talk either.
I mean, sure. I mean, again, he's not. I always just like that kind of that daddy's girl scenes we keep having where, like, Rick will say something really, again, like Pickle Rick is the perfect example where he's just, as Tiki's point is, he literally repeats the same thing he said, the more he says, like, some caring and compassion to him.
Oh jeez, honey, I mean, I'm a pickle.
I love those that's the dynamic I love with Beth and Rick, and that he does have, I love like that rare civility that Rick has with scenes like those. Anyway, so then
even if it's a lot of it just him covering his own ass.
Sure, but there's like some truth in there in the performance. I don't know, but yeah. So moving on to the train that come up, it's the planes, trains, automobiles homage, if you will.
Yeah, and this is where Rick basically gets like pseudo lobotomized.
Yeah, well, for 6 hours,
which is amazing. I gotta say, I love seeing Jerry kind of turn the tables on Rick.
That's the thing. That's feeding my Jerry dislike right there. Because again, like Rick's,
I like that a lot. I thought that was a lot of fun for all the shit that Rick's put Jerry through over the years.
But he was, I mean, again, it's like, just here's the thing. Jerry was literally begging for his life and begging for Rick to save him. He's just like, hey, screw you, Rick, save me, please. And like the minute that the guy who saved his only guy's in a position to save him, like,
remember me? I'm the vagina guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he in a way, he turns on an instant, turns on a dime on people. I hate that kind of quality with Jerry. It's like, come on, you petty little man. God.
In a way, Rick did have it coming, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, yes, you're right. In the grand scheme, he's been really mean and unfair to Jerry. Yes, but in this case, I mean, again, he's at Rick's mercy.
I mean, I don't know. I just find role reversals funny sometimes. This was a funny role reversal.
Well, it's just my regular thing with Jerry, I guess. Do
you want the cookies or the granola? The cookies, obviously. Well, too bad. You get the granola. You should have thought about that before you were such a dumbass little bitch.
It's like Jerry's the guy who, like, he taunts the bull. That's what Jerry is in this. Like, he's like taunting the bull. It's just like, come on, there's no civility here.
I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was funny.
All right. Well, again, tomato. All right.
So kind of nearing the end of this here, what else do we have?
We have the cosmic apathesis.
Oh my God, yes. So, Jesus Christ, that was a trip and a half, wasn't it?
Here's how I describe it.
So that's where we're getting the sci-fi.
You're right, Dragon.
Here's how I describe it. It's like if you take 2001 and put that on steroids. It's on LSD.
Oh God.
Or you basically you throw a copy of 2001 to one of the Doctor Strange portals.
Mm-hmm.
You have like kind of a trippy, like multiple hands thing, but with Rick and Morty.
Dragon, but you're absolutely right about the whole the hard sci-fi. This is definitely the most hard sci-fi scene that we've gotten maybe in the whole season thus far.
But remember the implication. The implication's important. They've really been stressing this. And I watched like a little inside segment of them talking about the episode. They really stressed this, and this might be important going forward. is that they did live like, what is it, like 1,000, like multiple lifetimes together, and that's why at the end of this episode, Jerry and Rick have an understanding with each other. I mean, again, they still hate each other, but it's like they kind of reach sort of like maybe a truce, sort of like they have like an understanding based on those 1,000 lifetimes they spent together.
I just want to point out my favorite bit from that section was Jerry freaking out like, I'm time! I am literally time!
I love the shot where his eyes are clocks.
Yeah.
And I love it when Rick's implants come back online, and he has like, he pulls out this weapon that he pulls on Grupa. And the weapon just literally, it's like a little almost like a little pop gun sort of thing. It shoots like a little sticky plunger, and that's how he gets the gun away while he's like having his big ethical crisis, and he just reels it in so like innocently and so childishly, just reels it back and then shoots him point blank in the head. It's great. It's priceless.
All right, so I get that I'm kind of out of things to say for this episode. Anyone else got anything?
Just, again, good ending where they're kind of like they're on terms with each other. Where again, for me, and I think Jerry had a better ending. It was just like he saluted him, he was going to leave, but then the whole wallet thing is like, we're back to basics.
Yeah, you know what? I am kind of with you there. Like, I think it would have been better to just end with the whole like, I don't want them to feel sorry for me. That's not my number one card in the book anymore.
I think I would have respected it a little bit more if they ended there.
And then Jerry just had to be like, oh wait, no, Rick.
So close.
So close, but at least it made up with it with an awesome post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacob, any final thoughts on your end?
You guys pretty much took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, next episode is going to be Rest and Ricklaxation. Not really sure what that's going to be about so far, but we'll see. That'll be out next Sunday. We'll probably talk about it next Monday.
Sounds good.
Yeah, in the meantime, folks, I guess the only other show we're covering currently that's actually on the air is the first 5 episodes of Nickelodeon's new show, Welcome to the Wayne, dropped. Now, we weren't able to get onto the hype train regarding the Loud House, but Welcome to the Wayne seems like another promising addition to Nickelodeon's growing lineup of promising content, and we're definitely going to start jumping on that soon. So I'll look for the first episode of Welcome to the Wayne coming very soon, within the next week or so, at the very latest. All right, and in the meantime, folks, rubba lubba dub dub, it's a Rick and Jerry episode. Rick and Jerry adventure. Rick and Jerry for life. Every day, Rick and Jerry. Rick and Jerry all the time. Morning, noon, and night. Rick and Jerry.